Greetings to all of you. My name is Chamo Yantan from School of Social Sciences. I take this wonderful opportunity to welcome all of you to Nagaland National Open University. Well, the discussion for today's topic is titled Festivals in Nagaland. This is in continuation of the earlier discussion. So this is part 2. So today we are going to discuss about in continuation of the previous class, we are going to discuss about the festivals in Nagaland. Well, as I have also stated earlier, many people think that Nagaland is a homogeneous state, but it is not so. It's very diverse. Even like in Nagaland, there are 16 tribes, and all the 16 tribes differs from like they cannot even understand their language or dialects, or they have their own different customs and tradition. So likewise, even in the festival, every tribe is having their own festivals, and all these festivals are also having in a different time, not in the same season. So we are going to discover more about the festivals of the Nagaland, but I think before we go into the discussion on the festivals in particular, it is also very important for us to have a reflection of what have been discussed so that we can have connection of what we are going to discuss today. So we have discussed in the previous discussion that Nagas are well known for their rich, colorful traditions and bravery, honesty and love for music. And the state of Nagaland is inhabited by 16 tribes. And we learn about the customs and traditions of the different tribes in Nagaland. And like we also discuss about Lotas, Aus, Angami tribe as democratic in functioning of their society. Whereas like Konyak, Sumis, Chang and are having a monarchy system of governance. And all the villages of the Naga tribes were politically and economically independent of each other. And history tells us that right from time immemorial, the Nagas, irrespective of the tribes, were living independently of their own villages. They identify themselves with their village and holds great pride to belong to a particular village. So today we are going to discuss further about the different festivals, and we have already discussed about Nagaland as a land of festivals, and I have already explained in the first part 1 why Nagaland is known as a land of festival. And we have already discussed about the Auling festival of the Konyak, Monyu festival of the Pom, Mungmung festival of the Sangdam, Sekrini festival of the Angamis, and Naglulum festival of the Chang. So today we are going to have further discussion on the different festivals in Nagaland. This picture is taken from the government of Nagaland, the tourism department, and it says, "Welcome to Nagaland, land of festival," and I have already discussed. And so the learning objectives for today's discussion is understanding the following festivals, that is Toku Emung festival of the Lota Naga tribe, Mwaza festival of the Ao tribe, Tuluni festival of the Sema or the Sumi tribe, and their significance. Let us start with the Toku Emung festival. This Toku Emung is celebrated by the Lota Naga tribe, which is a major tribe in Nagaland. Lota tribe, it's also known as Kyong, is one of the major tribes in Nagaland, and Lotas call themselves as Kyong. And Ao is another major tribe in Nagaland, which is a neighboring tribe, calls the Lotas as Zanir, which means power to swim. And Toku Emung is the post-harvest festival of the Nagas, which is having a lot of significance. So let us try to understand a little further on that. And the Toku Emung is a time of thanksgiving, reconciliation among the people, relatives, neighbors, and strengthening relationship. And the most impressive aspect of this festival is that past mistakes or past rancors are forgiven, and a new ties and bonds of closer intimacy are forged or is built upon. And in the olden days, Toku Emung was celebrated, after the harvest festival according to their conveniences and not on the same day of all. A very significant about this festival is that it is not only about a festival of thanksgiving, and when we say thanksgiving means thanksgiving to God for their plentiful harvest, but it is also a festival, a time when the Lotanaga tribes, they reconcile with one another for any kind of mistakes. If any kind of hard feelings has been committed in the past, they try to take this opportunity of during this festival to forgive one another so that a new relationship, is built or is strengthened. Yeah, so this is a very important, very significant part of this festival. And well, how Toku Emung is fixed? It is, as I have said, it doesn't have a specific date in those days, but it is always right after the harvest festival is done. And it is the village chief, who declares the Toku Emung festival. But one thing is that during this festival, the chief will try to find out whether there is any kind of date in the village. If somebody like a boy or a girl dies, maybe a couple of days or like that, it is not observed, within that day. If it is for men, a boy, it is after 6 days they observe, and after that they have the festival. If it is a girl, it is after 6 days, So the village chief will always try to find out whether there is any, bad incidents in the village. And then after that, it is the head of the village who, fixed the date for Toku Emung festival. And the Toku Emung festival lasted for 10 days, and within the 10 days, several rituals and ceremonies take place, and entire villages emerge, themselves in merrymaking, dancing, drinking, and feasting. And the 10th day or the last day of the festival is known as the Toku Emung festival. And both young and men all engage in merrymaking, dancing, and feasting on this day. It is a colorful festival of the Lotanagas. And the Toku Emung ends the Naga agriculture year, which also means a new year starts from the next day. Toku Emung is also it also means it's a new year, for the Lotas. And the marriages were also open after Toku Emung, festival. It's mostly they do not, marriages are not allowed to take place before this Toku Emung is celebrated. So right after whatever engagement might have, if it has happened, it is open for marriage after Toku Emung festival is open. It is after it is being observed. And the new houses are built, feast of marriage were also performed, and the land survey for fresh cultivation is also being conducted after Toku Emung festival. So this is a very important festival of the Lotanaga tribe. And it is also a time for removing village gates, cleaning and repairing wells, and construction of new chombo. Chombo means a morong, and morong means it's a bachelor's dormitory. So during this time, the morongs or the bachelor's dormitories are also being constructed. And, prayers were also offered to the spirits of the people who had died in the respective years. For example, among the Lotanaga tribes, it doesn't happen now, but in the olden days, if a person dies, example in January, February, well, till November, till this festival is completed, they will have to keep on feeding, in the cemetery, they will take, food, keep serving, throughout the year. And so when this Toku Emung comes to an end, it is also a time for them to separate from the dead spirit to the living. So this is again a very significant. This is another one of the most significant aspect of Toku Emung festival. And it was customary for the family who lost any members during the year to stay in the village until the last rituals were performed. Hence, Toku Emung festival was very significantly observed. Yeah, so we'll go to the next tribe. That is a Mwaza festival that is observed by the Naga tribe. Mwaza is a festival celebrated by the Ao tribe. It is celebrated in the first week of May every year by performing various rituals. The Ao observes, Mwaza Moon after the sowing is done, and the festival provides them a period of recreation, entertainment after the stressful sowing festival. So this festival is being done, observed after all their, after everything, the sowing of their field is being done, which is definitely a very stressful time for the Ao Nagas, or for the Nagas in general, or people in general. So after everything is sown, this festival is being observed. And it is also observed as a season to clean up community wells, repair houses, and the morongs. I have said morong is the bachelor's dormitory, which we will be discussing in the next class. And during, this festival, the Mwaza festival, one of the symbolic celebration is Sangbangzi, where big fire is lit and men and women sit around, putting on their complete best attires, and the women folks serves the wine and meat. You can see a young man and woman, a young man, very, beautifully dressed up in their traditional costumes. So during these festivals, they come up with their best traditional attires. And the natural, customary practice of the forefathers were also, competing in making the best rice beer and rearing the best possible pigs and cows to be slaughtered during this festival. So this Mwaza is a very interesting and a very happening festival in Nagaland. And the women wave, the best of traditional garments and adorn themselves with all their, finery. They join the men in dancing, eating and drinking and composing warrior songs. You can see in these pictures, it is not only the men, but also the men and women join together, dancing the Naga traditional dance. And also you can see a young woman worn, in her best Ao Naga traditional attire and is being displayed. Our tribe has another festival called Toku Emung. It is celebrated on the eve of the harvest, for God's blessings. And prior to the start of this festival, the village will declare the Sangam, that's called village gate, closed, and free entry or exit is restricted and regulated for people who do not belong to that particular village. It is like during when such kind of festivals take place, outsiders are not allowed to enter, and people are also not allowed to go. And of course, if outsiders are visiting their village, either they stay back or either they have to go. So that is of course, it is up to their free will. They are most welcome to join them if they want. Otherwise, if they do not want, they can always go back before the starting of the festivals. And the idea behind the celebration is also that it gives the people of the tribe some scope for entertainment after the distressing work of cleaning fields, burning jungles, or wildernesses, and sowing seeds. So this festival gives them the opportunity of entertainment and also relaxation after such a long working in the field. And additionally, other interesting aspect of these festivals are that marriages that are proposed or that are supposed to take place in the spring season are also being conducted. So folk stories of their ancestors, their forefathers, brave and fearless warriors activities are also being shared during this festival, as the Nagas are well known to be a very warrior people, and each tribes are having their own success stories, their bravery, during the headhunting days. So it is also during these festivals, the youngsters, they share such kind of stories among each other. And they provide the Mwaza, they provide the best offerings to the supreme power for abundant blessings. And these festivals provide opportunities to the budding generations and villages stalwarts to demonstrate their intellectual skills and physical powers. And the people beg on Almighty God's presence so that their hard work can be addressed and given recognition in the form of a good harvest. And this festival brings good tidings to the land and the lives of the people. We have again discovered that, most of the festivals are, quite spiritual, right? Entertainment is also there, but they are very quite spiritual. Yeah. And now comes to the next festival that is called Tuluni festival, that is celebrated by the Sumi Nagas. Sumi Nagas, they were earlier known as Sema Nagas, but now it is popularly known as Sumi. And Tuluni is a harvest festival of the Sumi tribe. People who works effortlessly in farms throughout the year relax during this festival and celebrates with delight. And you can see young boys, young men, in their traditional dress, showcasing the skills for traditional dance. Of course, this picture was taken in a Hornbill Festival, of course, but it is performed, by the Semanaga, the young men, showcasing of their past glories. And it is the culture of the Sumi tribe to arrange engagement to young couples during this festival. So it is also as similar to our tribe, similar to the Lota tribe and a few other tribes. After such kind of festivities there, it is also a time to arrange engagement to young couple during this festival. And Tuluni festival is celebrated with a lot of respect by observing various age-old rituals and ceremonies for invoking God's blessings. And various things are prepared like rice beer, and animals are slaughtered for meat, which is then used in feasts and parties, and also, of course, sharing with people. Yeah. And Tuluni, the festival celebrates the joy of people for a very fruitful season. And the prayers are initiated, and gods are presented with beer, prepared out of rice. And food is also given as an offering on leaves. And the festival is celebrated after sowing season is done with, and people let loose their joy over the production, productive season, I mean to say. It is also time when people share and feast. People also help the poor with gifts and food. So this kind of, during such kind of festivals, you also see that the uniformity among the Naga tribe. It is, well, first of all, it is also very well, it has got a lot of spiritual components, aspects, of the festivals. And you can see the festival is celebrated over, 7 consecutive holidays. And they will, during these festivals, they will dress up with their best attires. As you can see, young women in the Sumi Naga traditional costumes, dressed up for the festivals. So what we will do is now we will just give a reflections of what we have discussed today. First, we have understood the diverse tribes in Nagaland and their festivals. We have also learned today about the Lota Toku Emung festival as a time of thanksgiving, sharing, forgiving, strengthening relationship, and parting with the spirit of the dead people. And we have also learned about Mwaza festival as a time of relaxations, merrymaking, and prayer for blessings. And of course, a time for marriage as well. And we have also learned about Tuluni festival by the Suminaga as a time of merrymaking, resting, and offering prayer to Almighty, God for good harvest. Today, we will come to the end for today's discussion. In the next discussion, the main focus will be on the Hornbill Festival, and then followed by, the Feast of Mary, the Morong, and also status of women in Naga society. And then in the end, we will try to discuss about the Nagas today in the contemporary times. Yeah, thank you very much.